Hi, I'm Kelly Klein, and you're watching Stories Behind the Picture.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Do you want to be somebody famous?
I am. I am Ron Galella, Paparazzo superstar.
If you're socially going out to events or to parties or to openings at restaurants or whatever, where there were a lot of paparazzi, you would get to know their faces. And because in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, I was a lot more social at that time, going out a lot, and I would see all the familiar faces of the paparazzis, and you get to know their faces. And I never had a problem with being photographed. I never tried to shy away. I never tried to run away. I actually enjoyed sort of connecting with Ron and all the others that were at each event that I would go to, and kind of play off them a little bit. But Ron was wherever I went. I mean, he was everywhere. Even if we went to 2 events a night, he would be at both of those. So thank God I have Ron in my life, because otherwise I wouldn't remember anything, or I wouldn't have any of these pictures, for memories, and they're just wonderful to me. So first picture is, I don't know how many of us flew to Tangiers for Malcolm Forbes' 70th birthday party. I would say there are at least 200 or 300 people invited from all over the world. And we all flew in, and it was quite amazing landing at the airport. He had the whole airport lined with Arabian horses, white Arabian horses, and all the riders were dressed in some sort of costume of a Moroccan theme. Plane would pull up and you would just see like 100 white horses. And then we would go somewhere else and for a luncheon, and there'd be camels, and the camels were all dressed up. And there was this famous dinner that we all went to. I had been kicked by a horse 2 weeks before we left, and I was on crutches. That's why I was on crutches for that trip. And I just saw a picture of Barry Diller also at that same event, and he had a cane. And then Fran Lebowitz was also there, and she had a cane. So I don't know what was going on, but we were all sort of limping around the party. But it was a fantastic night in a Moroccan tent with incredible food and people, and everybody was dressed so beautiful. I was married to a designer, and he made the most beautiful clothes for me over a 20-year period. And I have to say, I think this is my favorite black tie outfit that I wore ever from him, ever. And I think it was this Radzimir, very sort of thick silk satin, and the chocolate brown with the lavender, and I was wearing black gloves and the Duchess of Windsor pearls, and everything to me about this image is would be the highlight of my nighttime black tie events. It was just so elegant, and it was so beautiful. I was always dressed in very much a Calvin style. Everything you see in all these images, they're one right after the other. I've only worn them once. It must have been at a fashion show, probably because I've got a bottle of water. So I was probably working backstage. And then I ran out to sit in my seat to watch the show, which is usually what would happen. I was not a fashion photographer at this time. I was a designer working for Calvin at this time. And Stephen is and was and still is, in my eyes, our greatest American, one of them, other than Abaddon, maybe a fashion photographer. So I always enjoyed sitting next to him, and I was so inspired by him and his photography throughout the years. But really, I was at this event, I was working for Calvin, and I ran out to sit in the audience to watch the show. Otherwise, I would not have a water bottle on my lap. We're exhausted. We've probably been up all night and you're just drinking water because that's all you've got. And I just ran out with my water bottle. So he did a line of clothing where we did beautiful lace dresses for the evening at the end of the show. For this night, I wore the long gold one. It's just a piece of lace wrapped around your body. There's nothing else. You know, you wore nude underwear and that was about it. And he sent out gold and silver, long and short, sort of very fitted, very sheer, nothing underneath, lace dresses. And these images for me, thank God, are captured by Ron, but it's about the clothing. It's so hard to find, I think, clothing like this, but I love this dress. Allie was a very good friend of Calvin's, and I met her through him. I think she always lived out west, so we didn't see her much in New York City. But this night, Calvin, he was being honored and he decided to do a huge, I think we had 300 models on the runway that night. And even Marky Mark maybe came down the runway with Kate. I don't know. It was one of these incredible evenings. We did the casting of all the models from the streets of LA. Remember Carolyn Bessette and I would do all the casting and we'd find these really good looking kids on the streets of LA and Hollywood. And we would say, you know, do you want to be in a fashion show on Saturday night at the APLA at the Hollywood Bowl? And they're like, yeah, you know, so that's how we put together that fashion show. We were showing like CK1 and underwear. We were showing jeans and no shirts and no clothes. And then we were showing maybe the whole world of Calvin Klein that night. And I think a couple of those kids went off to get modeling agencies. A lot of people came out that night to honor Calvin. And my dress was a satin white sequin slip dress, which doesn't get more minimally beautiful than that. And Allie, it's funny because when I was young, people used to say, you look like Allie MacGraw. And I'm like, really? I never really put two and two together. But back in that time was a very strong force in New York City and very upset with the fashion designers or anybody that was showing anything to do with animals, whether it be skin, leather, fur. And they were very, very prominent in New York City at the time. And this time we were walking into this event and they had pies. They had made key lime pies. I don't know what kind of pie. And they were meant to hit like Oscar de la Renta. They threw the pies at the people that were walking in front of Calvin and I. Unfortunately, the pies hit Calvin and I instead. And the people that it was meant for didn't get covered in key lime pie. I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. You can't really tell. There's a couple of images that you can see. And this is maybe not one of them. Calvin looks like he's got pie, a lot of pie on him. But I had it on me too. Like it was all over my dress and his suit. So they were screaming at us and we were whisked into the back room where we were able to take off our clothes. I don't think Calvin thought it was so funny. I thought it was pretty funny. Again, I'm wearing a slip dress, which became sort of my signature, and I'm wearing a cross around my neck, which I started wearing as well around that time. I did a book on crosses. I became obsessed with the shape of the cross. And not because I'm that religious, but because I just love the simplicity of the shape of the cross. So at that time I was working on that book. It's always wonderful to go to the Fashion Institute just to see, you know, who's going to win the awards in fashion and up and coming designers and what everybody's wearing. And it was always sort of a beautiful event in the Met, you can imagine. And Bill was with us. I didn't know Bill that well, but we must have been walking in together that night. For me, it's all about the slip dress. Of course, it's all about me, right? It's all about the slip dress. I'm wearing the full set of the Duchess of Windsor jewelry. It was given to the Duchess of Windsor by the Russian Tsar collection. And when she died, she donated all her jewels to Sotheby's auction, and all the money that was raised went to AIDS research. They raised a lot of money selling her collection. Calvin bought this beautiful set of natural pearls for me from the Sotheby's auction. And I didn't wear them very much. I maybe wore them once a year to an event. But in this picture, I'm wearing the full thing. The earrings, the drop, which was this huge pearl, and the 2 sets of necklaces. The earrings were a black pearl and a white pearl surrounded by diamonds. They were just the most beautiful, beautiful thing you can imagine. And the dress is obviously silver. It was also considered lace, but it's not your typical lace. It's more of a graphic lace pattern with a black satin ball gown. But as you can see, it doesn't like poof out. It's not like a typical ball gown. It's more slendering. It was one of Martha Graham's last ballets. And so that night we went to the opening of the ballet with her. It was so much fun to work on the costumes with Calvin. We did very sheer chiffon, flowy, very elegant, very light and sheer fabrics on the girls. And the very Calvin, very simple. That was us walking into the event that night. My dress was gold sequins that were matte gold. You couldn't even see the sequins. It was like liquid. It was the most beautiful dress. It was short to my knees. I don't see dresses like this. Maybe I don't go to the right places, but I still have all these clothes, by the way. These really capture, it's not even Hollywood, but it looks like Hollywood in the most glamorous of time. And that's what his pictures, for me, is he just had a way of making everyone look so glamorous. Or maybe we were, I don't even remember, like, it was so long ago.